When the news spread that the graves of two of Adventure Bay's heroes had been vandalized, it had sent the entire town in a fury of worry and rage. Never had such a horrible crime like grave robbing been done before. Nobody even knew who would have even done such a thing. Mayor Goodway immediately called the police to investigate, but along with them were Ryder, Rocky, and Chase. It had been their friend's resting place that had been disturbed. They were more furious than anything. Rocky even swore that he would kill the ones who did it. After investigating the area, Chase was quick to point out it had to be other canines that had done this. There were no human footprints, and the smells of dog fur combined with the scent of decay was too much to deduce who, according to him at least. When inspecting Sweetie's body, it was clear that whatever did this to her tore her apart despite her efforts to fight back. She was torn limb from limb, teeth marks decorated everywhere. It was unclear as to why she was even here to begin with, but it was clear she wasn't the one responsible for this. Her body would be sent back to Barkingburg for a proper funeral after the autopsy. The tracks only led to outside the cemetery and then ended. Even heat vision goggles couldn't track them. Ryder had composed a list of suspects on who could have done this. Since Sweetie was out, that left only a few of their past criminal enemies. The top two were already discounted due to their alibis. Mayor Humdinger and his cats were at a charity event with dozens of witnesses. Plus, Chase didn't sneeze, so there was no way the cats could have done it on their own. Captain Sid and Arby were still in jail after their last theft attempt, and a quick confirmation from their warden assured them that they were still in their cells. The list soon ran down to other criminals they stopped in the past years, but all of them had alibis or were in jail, meaning whoever did this was new, and they had a grudge against the Paw Patrol in general or Marshall and Skye. That left Rocky to figure out how it was done. He theorized the whole digging was done by Paw, yet the perpetrators had to be gloved as the only traces they found were the remains of Marshall and Skye. The other thing that stunned him was that the coffins looked like they were busted from the inside. But this was dismissed, as everyone was sure that Marshall and Skye were dead and couldn't break out of their own coffins. Well, one pup did. It's not here! It's not here! Where the fuck is it? Thought Chase as he turned his pup house inside and out. He had to wait until Rocky and Ryder were fast asleep until he started searching for the cursed monkey's paw. Why is it that the one time I wish to see it, the damn thing won't show up? After searching his bowl for a fourth time, Chase fell to his back and started to breathe heavily. He felt his heart skipping faster with each passing second. He wondered if this was what it was like to have a heart attack. Damn it, where is it? I need to know! I need to know! He had to know how many fingers were left. He remembered what he said. He wished his friends were back, but he swore the paw wasn't even in the area. He didn't even hold it when he made that wish. At least, I don't think I did. He was too tired from all the pizza eating and movie watching that day. His first day relaxing in God knows how long. He didn't know if he was being paranoid or not, but he needed to know. He needed to know if he brought his best friends back to life again. Could even the dead be summoned back? He wondered as he turned around, rubbing his head. If they can, why didn't they just come back and find us? Just say it's a miracle or something? Unless the shock of being alive again after dying was too much for them. And if there wasn't, it would still be just as bad. It would make sense the two would flee in fear and horror of their sudden resurrection. But that doesn't explain killing Sweetie! Thought Chase with a growl of frustration. Sweetie may have been one of their villains, but neither Marshall or Skye would kill her without good reason. And even if it was in self-defense, the level of brutality was too much. It felt like there was so much rage inside each bite. Not to mention bits and pieces of her were missing, almost as if she was eaten alive. There was a word that was lingering in Chase's mind, a word that began with the letter Z. If he was the Chase before he met that gypsy dog, he would have said you were mad. But after everything that had happened to him, he didn't know what to believe. Or to be more accurate, he didn't want to believe. Because then, this would be another sin he would have to face, and it would be the worst of them all. Had he not done enough to them? Did he not already ruin their lives by having them killed by his own desires? Did they not deserve to rest in peace at long last?
How much more must I suffer until this finally ends?
He demanded in his head, but got no answer. He covered his eyes with his paws, holding in the tears. He knew there was only one thing to do. If they were alive, if they were undead, I have to send them back to their graves, and then I'll find the PAW and wish something. I don't know what, but when the final finger folds, I'll be free of it forever. He just hoped that nobody else got hurt because of this. It had been days since he could sleep. Every night he would stare into the ceiling, doing his best to not close his eyes. He couldn't close them, not when she was there, hanging there without a care. Her smile as cheerful as the sun that reflected on her fur, yet as cold as her pulse. Zuma would then scream like his blood was on fire. He wanted to claw out his eyes, to put a nail in his brain, to just forget everything. Forget Sky, Marshall, the lookout, the rope, the tree, the smile, the damn smile. Like a constant routine, Zuma shed tears for his sister figure, for Sky, who was always there for him when he needed a hug or a smile, for Sky, so brave and beautiful that Zuma was only jealous of Marshall grabbing her first. She was an angel. Now she had become one. Yet, the nightmares only gave Zuma a living hell in his mind. Unlike Rubble, who was as silent as a ghost, he just wanted to forget. He never wanted to see the lookout again. This room, this locked and barred bedroom, was safe. It was warm. It was without any death or pain. Just him alone. Sometimes the nice men in the white suits came. They asked questions, but Zuma didn't answer them. He just asked to be alone, away from everyone.
If I'm with nobody, then I can't see anyone die. I won't let anyone die. I don't want any more death!
He begged as he rocked back and forth, his knees hugging his chest. He didn't want to sleep. No sleep. No seeing her face. Just be awake. Awake. No more drugs to go to sleep. No more waking up at dawn screaming. Just no more sounds? Zuma's ears perked. There was always sounds outside the door. People moving back and forth. Strange laughter or cries of pain. Screams, not his screams, but other screams as well. Sometimes the cart would come by with food and water. Other times it just passed. There had been screams earlier. A lot of screams. Different ones mixed with familiar ones. Yet now there was silence. He tilted his head. Why was there silence? Why did the screaming stop? He wasn't screaming. Should he scream? No, he didn't see her, so he couldn't scream. He slowly got up and moved from his bed to the door. It was unlocked. Necessary to use the bathroom, not like the others who were locked shut and bolt. He slowly opened the door. Then he smelled it. The feeling came back. Death. Death. It was death. The smell of blood. The scent of death. No. No. No! No! Zuma screamed as he rushed back to his bed and under the covers. Shivering, he covered his ears, but kept his eyes open. No more! No more! No more! Something was coming. He froze. Something was here. It was moving slowly. It smelled like death, and blood, and rot. It smelled of dirt, and yet it was familiar. It stopped right next to him. He didn't move. He didn't breathe. He wondered if he was dreaming. He poked his head out. She was smiling at him again, only she was missing her skin and had all teeth. Her eyes were sullen and rotten. Her fur was dirty and gray. Her ears were ready to fall apart. Her nose was all but gone. He screamed, hoping to wake up. She dived forward. No matter how much he screamed, she didn't stop smiling. Not when she tore out his throat, or ate his heart, or crushed his brain. She never once stopped smiling, and he never once stopped seeing it.